We
This is Winging It, the somewhat whimsical, certainly worrying, decidedly wonky, seldom weighty, endlessly well-intentioned, and wildly witty show about music where one knows what's coming and the other doesn't. And it happens in between both proper to ensure you can spend anywhere from 15 to 180 minutes with us every week. And, you know, I try to be inventive, I try to be creative, I try to come up with weird, wacky, interesting stuff. And this time may or may not fit the bill. I'm not making any promises this time. This might be one of those I was reaching.
The seat of the pants is getting worn thin.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's the name of the game, but still.
And honestly, this is the kind of show where being ready, it almost doesn't help at all.
I mean,
it's either going to happen or it's not.
So I find that it helps.
It doesn't help me. No, I mean, you can't overthink it is what I mean.
I cannot
You have to make
overthink
some
it.
kind of preparations. Like,
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
mean, but I think most people, it's either going to happen or it isn't, but I think most people agree that we go together like womp bop baloo bop womp bam boom, you know. I mean,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. I agree. I mean, I wouldn't say anything different. I don't think anyone would challenge that.
No, I
don't
think
so.
I think they cemented the perfect phrase forever when they invented that one.
I agree. I mean, we go together like kadingy kadingy dong, even.
Ramalama ding dong and
Kadingy kadingy dong's another one.
Is that in there?
Yeah. You thought I just made that shit up? How
yeah,
could I come up with
did.
kadingy
I don't know. I
kadingy
thought,
dong?
is that in Greece? Because honestly, I'm not that familiar with the sound. Although some
wrong.
bass player accounts on Instagram have been covering songs from that, and there's some kick-ass musicianship on that album.
Well, sure.
I mean, the bass is incredible, and the songs aren't really awful. You know, it's just the movie's awful, not the songs. You know.
Oh.
Grease is awful.
We are
I mean,
not
the
gonna
songs
be-
are nice though.
We may not be friends much longer. I'm not sure.
I mean, you know.
Now you're really challenging our friendship. You're challenging what is good and right in the world.
You want me to say Grease is the word? Okay, Grease is the word.
Grease is the word. Let's just erase what he just said, folks, and we'll pretend that never happened because it's a blemish.
Let
It's
me
a
be on
blemish.
record as saying Grease is the word.
Okay. All right, so here's the topic. So what I've done is I've gone through, and I thought it'd be interesting to know what are some major fears, or were some major fears for those who are no longer with us, of our favorite rock stars.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Because you may not believe it, and they may be the same as yours.
Yeah. You know, and whenever I hear people talk about, oh, this person has a fear of X, and I think of that's a pretty damn reasonable thing to be afraid of.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
Once I start
Ridiculous.
thinking about it, I'll be afraid of that too. You know, but
Exactly.
they're probably like they live with it and everything, which is monomaniacal, and that's pretty sad. But
True.
let's hear it.
All right, well, let's start with David Bowie.
David Bowie was afraid of something?
I know, right? Doesn't seem like it. What do you think he might have been afraid of? Just a guess. Just hazard a guess.
I don't know. Getting to church on time. It's what he says in the song Modern Love.
You
Church on
did
time
not.
terrifies me.
You're right. You know what? Of all the logical leaps, there's one. He was scared.
And it makes him party. you
Well,
know?
that's true. That's true.
No, is it Modern Love terrifies me, makes me party, gets me to the church
Gets
on
me
time?
to the church on
Yeah,
time.
so it's
That's
Modern
right.
Love that scares
Modern
him.
Love
Okay.
is It is scary.
And the answer is, final answer, modern.
Flying.
Yeah.
Flying.
Flying.
Yes.
Poor bastard. He must have had to fly so much in his life, too.
That's what it says. He may have been out of this world, as they say, but for his earthly travels, he tried to avoid airplanes. For nearly 5 years, from 72 to 77, he did not fly at all.
Wow. He must did he sail to Europe or something? Or
Well, he
to
had
the
a
States?
premonition in which he died in a plane crash.
Oh.
And that fear kept him out of the sky for a while, but that
So
didn't stop him from
He was afraid of
touring.
being the man who fell to earth, basically.
Well, I guess so. He went by boat, bus, and train while performing U.S., Japan, and throughout Europe. So
Wow.
Bowie was terrified of flying.
Wow.
So that sucks. What about Ozzy Osbourne, the guy who bites heads off bats, or at least one bat?
What's Ozzy afraid of?
What
Well,
could he be afraid
I don't
of?
think it's sobriety. No, let me see.
He is scared of sobriety. Well, because he sounds the same sober as he does drunk.
It depends on how far back. I mean, these days I would say in the last 25 years I'd say he was afraid of losing his wife, but it's
That's
got
a
to
valid
be
fear.
it's got to but it's got to be something a little more pathological than that. What is it?
Bats. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been funny.
I would like to.
It's rats, actually.
Oh, rats! So you take the
Yes.
wings off. That's the problem.
Yes. By his own account, he said, I tell you what, I'm scared of rats. They've got so many diseases we don't even have cures for. It's crazy that anyone would think I'd be in the league with the devil because I'm terrified of all kinds of shit. I'm very superstitious, he says. I have to try not to be, otherwise I wouldn't leave the house.
Oh, shit.
So he's got some major fucking issues.
Rats, wow.
Rats.
So he must really hate like New York City and stuff.
He must. I mean, most of my friends terrified of rats because we'll be sitting anywhere and there's a huge rat that goes by. You know, it's at a restaurant or whatever, right outside of the restaurant, you know. And they see it, they're like, was that a rat? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, look at me. The rat is terrified of you.
Yeah,
you are
if you go near that
times
rat,
bigger than that rat.
it's going to run. You know?
That's exactly right. The rat is not coming for you. The rat is trying to fly under the radar. It's just a huge-ass rat.
I mean, a rat looks at you, tries to stare at you, and go, yeah, motherfucker, it's going to run.
That's right. It's going to be like, oh, shit, sorry. Exactly. Do you have any crumbs? Never mind. I got to go.
Yeah. Well, rats, and you don't really see rats around here that much.
Yeah. No, and I don't give a rat's ass.
Back on the East Coast, it was rat salad.
There are a lot of rats, though, around restaurants because they're no fools.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so they stick around.
Ratatouille, you know.
It's fucking A.
Templeton. You know.
Ay. Okay, moving on. Slash. What is Slash scared of?
Because he calls his band Snake Pit, I'm going to say he's another Indiana Jones and he's afraid of snakes.
Hey, these are really good but completely wrong guesses. He's actually terrified of hand injuries.
Oh, yeah. Well,
which
of course.
I will say is Bruce's biggest fear.
Well,
hand
guitar
injuries.
Player, of course.
And drummer.
Yeah.
Slash is among the greatest guitar players in the history of rock, so saith UltimateClassicRock.com. Given that he built his legacy by working with his hands, he says, if I'm watching a movie or actually in person, if someone has a hand accident, that really gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like leaning my arm out the window of the car when I'm driving like some people do. I'm very sensitive about fingers, hands, and all of that. My digits. He's terrified because, I mean, that's his bread and butter.
Yeah,
and also, I'm assuming a huge outlet. You know, and
yeah, I mean, I'm sure if he wasn't making records, you still don't want to, not be able to play,
Exactly. So he's terrified of hand injuries, and I'm telling you, Bruce, the same. When he broke his clavicle, terrified that he wasn't going to get full use back, and he did.
And probably now, in a case like that, there's the famous Lloyd's of London, where people insure body parts and things like that, that are their assets,
That's right.
I mean, and it can be all kinds of body parts, too.
Like J-Lo's assets.
Yeah. And this would be a classic case. I mean, piano players and guitar players, many of them have their hands insured.
As they should. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about John Lennon? What was John Lennon scared of? Please don't say being shot. Please don't say
No.
Okay.
He wouldn't live in New York City if he was afraid of being shot.
That's true.
John Lennon afraid of. I'm trying to think. It's some kind of diseasey thing.
Diseasey thing. I like that new word you made up, diseasey.
We do that all the time.
Yeah,
and we broaden the horizons of the listeners, not only by making up new words on the fly,
true,
but also using actual valid words that you don't hear every day. Like, did you all catch it on the other show when Christina said truncate? When the hell did someone last say truncate? That's a great word.
Well, detritus, remember we have the detritus. We brought that into the mix as well not too long ago.
Yeah,
Who says detritus?
Mispronounced and everything.
You mispronounce it. No, it's not detritus. It's detritus. Oh, my God, detritus. You're so snooty. So what is John Lennon scared of, or what was he scared of, rather?
I don't have any, I don't know.
This one is pretty interesting. He was scared of his legacy. What that means is, I remember John as being a little bit insecure, McCartney says. I remember him once particularly strangely out of the blue saying, I worry about how people are going to remember me. I was like, John, listen to me. Look at me. You're going to be remembered as one of the greatest people. I said, because, you're fantastic. That's what McCartney said to him.
I mean, legacy, it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about as a man or are we talking about as an artist? Because he's got to know. I mean, picture a time where everybody looks like, remember that Lennon guy? Didn't he suck? I mean, John Lennon is a legend and he always will be with anyone. With most people. I mean, there are people who don't really care for him.
But he may not have wanted to be seen as an asshole or seen as an elitist or seen as, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that people could assume of him.
And there are, people say some bad things about him. And indeed, there are things that they heard from him himself.
Exactly.
He has admitted to doing a lot of bad things.
Yeah, to saying the wrong thing. Yeah.
I don't listen to gossip and I hate this, paparazzi and rumors and all this stuff and everything. But when a guy comes out and tells you, this, you can't help but find out. I mean, it's not like you're nosy. He sticks it right in your face,
Yeah.
But, it's I guess it's cool, the accountability. It's like, you know what? I don't want people to think I'm perfect, and I want to, humble myself. So I'm going to tell people that I beat women and stuff like that,
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody worries about their legacy to some degree. I mean, I worry about my legacy at work. You know, I want people to think of me as being a good partner and blah blah blah. I worry about my legacy as a friend, as a daughter, as whatever. I mean, I want people to, when I go, which, you know, whenever that will be, to say good things. Now, of course, there's not everyone in the world's going to say good things, but I think legacy does keep some of us up at night, especially the older we get.
Yeah.
So it was very deep. But
unless you're a lone wolf like me.
Let's go from the very deep to the total logical. What was Freddie Mercury scared of?
Okay, so this is logical. You've kind of given away the game here.
Yeah, this one was a little more logical.
It could be the same as Lennon. I mean, it could be the same as Slash. It could be his hands or his voice or anything he made his living with. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't afraid of cats, obviously. So
he may have been, but he embraced it.
Yeah, he really faced that fear.
He really did.
Really faced that fear big
Head
time.
on.
He wasn't afraid of cocaine. So what was he afraid of?
Oh my God.
And again, I don't.
Wasn't afraid of men.
Wasn't afraid of men. What was he
That's
afraid
good.
of? I don't know.
Wasn't afraid of emotion.
You know, and it's weird because I grew up before you were born reading Cream and Circus magazines, and I don't remember any of that stuff, you know, because I guess they didn't talk about it. But they talked about a lot of sensational stuff that I didn't want to hear, but I don't remember anything about that.
I don't know why you don't want to. You're just so completely opposed to hearing any, like, juicy stuff about who they are. I like this kind of stuff. Like, what was Freddie Mercury, one of the greatest musicians of all time, what was he scared of? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Oh.
Spiders.
Yeah, spiders are messed up.
Yeah, I don't like it. On many occasions, no sooner had Freddie gone to the bathroom to clean his teeth before bed than he'd come running out screaming, "Spider! You have to get it out. I can't do it." And he hated all arachnids. He showed them mercy. He didn't like them, but he meant them no harm and would never ask anyone to kill one. Jim is, he was talking about Jim Hutton, his partner.
Capture, catch, and release.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
He liked me to catch it in a glass or a box and throw it outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are bugs that I'll happily escort out if I can.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Here's my thing. I will put you outside if you don't come for me.
Yeah.
If you come charging at me, you're going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't come for me. In my house, you're coming for me? Oh, hell no.
And if you're like one of those really tough to capture things.
You know what's really hard to capture? What are they called? Silverfish.
Oh, don't even mention those things.
Yeah. They're like, and they're super fast.
There's my fear. You just found it.
Got to be super quick, and you just got to get them.
Silverfish.
Sounds
really elegant, but it's a freaky little thing.
We have a lot in our area.
It looks like the fucking Tingler from the movie.
It's super creepy, yeah. Yeah. So spiders. So poor Freddie was terrified of spiders. I don't like them, but I do the catch and release.
Yeah. I don't freak out over spiders. Moths are my thing, actually.
I'm not a fan. They get in my hair. They get right up on. I can't.
I just don't like it. I mean, butterflies are fine, and moths. It must be the powdery aspect of it. I don't know. They just creep me out. I don't want and they got these creepy looking antennas and eyes.
No.
They're coming after me. It's just like you are just.
Yeah, it's not working.
Demonic.
You want to get the hell out of my house,
get away from me.
Things are going to not go well for you.
Of course, moths don't come in houses that much, thankfully.
They come into our garage. That's the problem. And then they want to just like multiply, and I'm like, this is not okay.
When they see the balls of other moths there, it frightens them away.
Ball moths, yes.
Mothballs.
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 Mothballs?
You said ball moths. Mothballs.
Ball moths. I want to know what those look like.
I love how mothballs has become like, synonymous with just like something being put out to pasture. It's like they mothballed that whole thing. I love that. It's one of my favorite phrases.
I did not know that. I've known you a little while now. So what is Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters scared of? What is he scared of? Dave Grohl.
Probably because every other word he says is fuck. I imagine it's like broadcast television.
No, that's what I'm fucking scared of. Howard Stern and me very scared of that.
Well, Howard Stern, of course, for 30 years didn't say fuck once on the air because he was on the air.
Right.
I mean, it's a shock to me if I catch some video clip and I hear him say that. It's like, wow, you don't say that.
Well, I listen to him all the time. He is the fuckmeister. I love it. It's my favorite. And he says fuck convincingly. It's like there's a lot of oomph behind it. I love that.
Well, that you gotta mean it. You have to incorporate it. It can't just be window dressing.
Right? No,
it's like Dave Grohl. Every other word, fuck. It just doesn't. It doesn't sound right when he does it. But anyway, so besides that,
he's not scared of that. He's scared of small places.
Ooh.
He says I'm kind of claustrophobic. Fucking hey, what am I talking about?
It's caustic.
I'm kind of claustrophobic. I have crazy claustrophobic dreams, weird elevator dreams where the elevator closes and all of a sudden I'm laying down. Oh my God, it's a casket. Just freaky stuff like that. The feeling also corrupted while traveling. Sometimes in airplanes, I can't stand the fact that I can't get off and I want to. So he says he's flying a little less. He finds flying a little less stressful these days, but it used to be really hard on him because it is a small space.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be stuck on a plane for 10 hours, 12 hours, some insane stuff
Right.
like that. I can't even imagine.
Stuck on the tarmac forever for no reason. You're like, what the fuck? Or circling in the air.
I max out. I like flying okay, but I max out on it after 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, you're like done. Yeah. Absolutely. All
Layover,
right, so...
good, fine, anything. Let me get off this fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. So I bet you know this one. What is Gene Simmons scared of?
Wow. You know what? Again, going back to the 70s, I've been reading these things, and I don't ever remember Gene Simmons saying anything he was afraid of.
Also flying.
Oh, really?
He says...
Oh, you know what? You're right. I do remember that. Go ahead.
He says Paul Stanley actually outed him in his book Backstage Pass. He said that he pushed past his fear to visit his lifelong friend in the hospital
when he was having his ear done.
Right.
That's it. That's what I remember. I heard that story. That's what I was just remembering.
Gene flipped to see me in the hospital despite an intense fear of flying at that time.
And to hear Paul tell it, I heard Paul tell the story that it was some puddle jumper, and it was not, it was not a a very stable flight.
Ooh.
But I mean, Paul had been hiding that ear. I never knew about his ear. Never.
Yeah, no.
Not until like the 2000s did I ever hear that story.
2002 is when his biography came out.
Yeah, I never heard him talk about that. But Paul, was born with basically no ear on one side, and that he had the operation and Gene flew, and he said that's a real friend because these guys been together for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, nobody else might like them, but they like each other. So
yeah, at least they got each other. That's good. Because gotta go ahead and ask for my check. What about Alice Cooper?
Oh, now here's a guy I should know.
Mm-hmm.
I read his first autobiography. He's written another one, but I read his first one many years ago. What's he afraid of? I don't know. Of course, he sings about the stuff he's afraid of most, like spiders and things like that. I can't remember.
He says, they can put my head in a guillotine, they can put a snake around me, but a blood test? I haven't had a shot in probably 30 or 40 years. Terrified of needles.
Really?
Even though he's terrified, he got his COVID vaccine in 2021 and openly encourages fans to do the same. But apparently, I'm assuming, it doesn't say here he had to be tranquilized or something, because he is deathly afraid. I mean, he didn't have a shot in 40 years.
Wow.
Holy shit, that's an intense fear.
I mean, you figure the flu at least, something.
COVID did it, though. It broke him down. He got it, but were restraints involved?
Oh.
Tranquilizers and restraints?
The hanging, we talked about this on the show once, how he was almost hanged for real.
Yes.
And of course, the guillotine. I'm sorry, even though you're sticking your head in there, and it's really your head, at some point your head is going to go someplace else, and the dummy's going to be there, but that's pretty scary.
Super scary. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. All right, Nikki Sixx of Motley Crue.
Oh, wow. Well, it's not groupies or any drug ever invented.
No, he's not scared of women.
Let me see. Nikki Sixx. What would he be afraid of? I don't know.
Snakes.
Oh.
Snakes. He says, I really don't like snakes. Don't fucking like them. They're creepy. I was talking to Slash about this because I got the idea of the Carnival of Sins tour for Motley Crue, and I wanted to have these girls coming out naked with snakes on them and blowing fire, and Slash goes, well, you got to spend time with the snakes. And I'm like, fuck it, forget it. So we just settled on the naked girls blowing fire. It's fine for other people to hold snakes, but just don't get that fucking thing near me.
I was going to say, he had the snake idea in the first place, but he did not think that he was going to stay aloof from the naked girls with the snakes.
No, yeah, he's like, no, never mind. Fuck that idea.
Well, we know Britney Spears is not afraid of snakes, and we know Alice Cooper is not afraid of snakes. She borrowed the whole boa constrictor idea from Mr. Alice.
Yes.
But,
I'm not afraid of snakes. Are you afraid of snakes?
No, I'm not.
That's right. We watched that wildlife thing. That's
we went to a wildlife thing together.
That was really cool.
If somebody has a snake, I will go over and pet the snake. I have no problem with that. I mean, if I looked over and a snake were crawling across the floor of both studios right now, I would probably freak the fuck out.
Unless it was your pet snake, then we'd be cool with that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it. I don't have a pet snake. I don't have pets.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it would be alarming. Sure.
And I would think to myself, is red touching yellow? Because if so, I'm a dead fellow. Is red touching black? Then I'm all right, Jack. That's the memory trick.
Wow. All right.
See, we educate you on all kinds of things.
We do. I thought you were going a different way with that. I just went with you. David Lee Roth is scared of something that's fairly common.
Male pattern baldness.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming for me, and it's like no. When I see aerial shots of myself, it's like no.
Aerial shots. You have a lot of crane shots of yourself.
Surveillance camera shots.
Drone.
Yeah.
Drone footage.
No, I mean at work. Yeah. We're on camera every second of every day, and I sometimes get to see my own head. It's like, oh shit, I wish I couldn't see that. Let me see. David Lee Roth. Well, he was a paramedic. He did all that stuff, so it can't be blood or anything like that. Don't know.
Flying as well.
Damn, dudes.
Everyone's fear is flying. So he has a fear of heights, it seems like, as well. So I don't know. So I guess that may be part of it. He has a near crippling fear of flying.
Wow.
So I guess he still seemingly flies, so he's kind of overcome his fear, but he really, really hates it. He enjoys long flights because they allow him to take a full paperback uninterrupted.
Huh.
So apparently he's a reader.
I mean, if you could, it depends because not many bands have their own planes. But if you could have some kind of arrangement like a train where you could just sleep the whole flight away, that would probably help. Get on the plane, go to sleep before the damn thing even takes off.
True.
That would probably help, but that's not very common.
Yeah, I think it's more like I think it's claustrophobia. You can't get off. There's just a million fears involved with planes. So it's
it's just like you can't get off because you couldn't get out because you're moving 600 miles an hour.
Right.
I was on a plane, last year, and some of the data they show you is like, okay, you're at 32,000 feet and you're going 610 miles an hour. It's like, yeah, that's great.
I probably don't really need to know all this info.
It's interesting, though.
It is interesting. Yeah. Ringo Starr.
Ringo.
Another one you should know.
I should.
I mean, these are your peeps, man.
That's my man, my hero. Let me see. Well, I don't know. What is Ringo afraid of,
Germs.
Germs, that's Gear 5. It's something they used to say.
It's a phobia that can be traced back to childhood. So he was 6 years old when he had his appendix removed, and complications left him in a coma for several days.
Wow.
So at the age of 13, he again battled health issues, contracting tuberculosis. So they forged a strong case of germophobia that continues to this day. He refuses to shake hands and instead rubs elbows as a way of saying hello.
I'm not a germaphobe or anything like that, but I don't like shaking hands either. I just don't. I'm sorry, I really don't. I'd rather bump fists. But it's funny how we're not afraid of germs as much as we should be because they can really fuck you up. But
I mean, I'm a germaphobe to some degree. As soon as I shake someone's hand, I need to use my hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know where those hands have been.
I'm always washing those hands.
Yeah, I don't know where those hands have been. So I totally get that. And with all of that fucking history, of course you're terrified.
Oh yeah,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Real quick story. I worked in a call center. This was a long time ago. I think 2004.
Wow.
And we had
that was like the other day for me.
Whatever. we had you have the little filtered machines, right, that are there, right, the little water filtration areas. And apparently I never drank out of them. I always brought my own bottles from home, or I bought bottles, 7-Eleven, Circle K, whatever. And we had a guy contract meningitis from that. And he almost died. And I swore, I'm like, I will never use one of those community, because they put their gross water bottles that they've just drunk out of right up to the top and fill it.
No contact.
That it makes me want to. I can't. And after that happened, and he was in the hospital for like 5 months. He almost died, and then we were all terrified that we were going to get it. Although I didn't drink out of it, everybody was scared they were going to get it. Nobody else did, but I'll never again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. Okay, I will. Yeah, I drink, water from machines, but not like fountains or anything like that.
No, it's
yeah,
one
I know
of those,
it was a machine, but there's no contact.
You're not supposed to have contact, but apparently people were shoving it up there.
Oh, God.
And I don't know.
Okay,
I can't.
There goes my whole gig. You know? There goes my whole work routine. You know?
Shit. I just think you take you take something and you wipe it.
Yeah, you can. You
I
can
mean,
sterilize
it's
it.
so
Yeah.
creepy. All right, Dave Davies.
Dave Davies of the Kinks.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he too has fears.
I
know, hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. Well, flying is too common. You wouldn't do another flying, or maybe you would. It seems to be very common for these rock stars.
I just
who
think
got
it's interesting because they fly the fuck around and they're terrified. So amazing.
I mean, very few rock stars only tour in their country. I mean, most of them, especially on the caliber we're talking about here, are all over the world.
Right.
I mean, David Lee Roth, my God, he had to fly all the way down Japan, to
Yep.
do at least that one album. All right, Dave Davies, no idea.
Clowns.
So
he's afraid of clowns from a very early age. So he said, I never liked the circus as a kid and was always scared of clowns. So I was facing that fear. It's always scared me, that false smile, hiding behind something. So the track, apparently, it helped him with songwriting. He says the track would peak at number 3 in the UK, became one of the most successful songs of his solo career, which is Death of a Clown.
Oh, his solo career.
Yeah, his solo career. So apparently clowns. Now, again, since Poltergeist, I'm not a fan of clowns.
I saw that when it first came out. I have no recollection of clowns even being in it. But I understand clowns are pretty bizarre looking, and it isn't because of Gacy. I mean, even before that, people are like, wow, clowns, because they do look like, you don't have to be afraid. It's just like it
makes me even more afraid.
Yeah, it is kind of spooky. And, of course, nowadays we're bombarded with spooky, murderous clowns to drive the point even home. I mean,
like
and the Twisty the Clown in American Horror Story. I mean, just messed up shit. But I thought you were going to say what song was, but I don't know. I'm assuming Ray Davies actually wrote that one, was the Kinks' Sleepwalker, because the album, I mean, it isn't about a clown, but the album cover, if I remember correctly, has a guy with like mime makeup on. I think, unless I completely made that up.
So, because you don't remember the Poltergeist horror, I'm going to remind you. The big scary clown that's like life-size clown, like big old clown with really long arms and legs, sitting on a chair. And he didn't like it. It was looking at him, so he put his jacket over it. Then the jacket fell off. Then he put the jacket back on it. And then he looked over, and the clown wasn't there anymore. Then he was trying to find it, and the clown attacked him from underneath his bed.
Oh, shit.
I can't. After that, I don't want clowns anywhere near me.
Any of that,
Fucking terrified me to no end. I hate clowns. I won't have them in my house. I can't do it. I can't. I was into clowns before.
Yeah.
I thought they were cute. No, not cute anymore. All right, so
no, send in the clowns. There ought to be clowns.
Send the clowns the fuck home. Send them back to their clown car. Matt Bellamy from Muse. What do you think he is scared of?
What's his role in Muse? Now, I have heard. I know I'm a dinosaur.
The front man.
Okay, I have heard some Muse, and I did think it was good.
They're fucking amazing.
But frontman of Muse, what's he afraid of? Is it an animal? Let me guess. Is it an animal? No? Okay, then I give up.
Very good. Alien impregnation.
Oh, dude, really? It's one of those things where he's probably just saying that to make give him something to write about. Alien impregnation.
Being impregnated by an alien and giving birth, it'd be awful to give birth to a freak, so you'd have to hide it away from everyone, but still bring it up as your own.
So we're talking about a man here, right?
A man, yes.
Okay, so is the alien going to bust out of his chest? Because he ain't going to have to take care of it then. He's going to be dead.
He's a conspiracy theorist, and he's got a general disdain for government, so I think it comes
so he thinks aliens can get a man pregnant and he can deliver a child.
Apparently.
Okay.
Apparently.
I'm going to be thinking about that one for a while.
Yeah, get back to me.
Yeah.
Joe Elliott.
Joe Elliott of Def Leppard.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's it's not groupies and it's not cocaine. So or he wouldn't be a Def Leppard.
Right.
What is it?
He's not afraid of one-armed drummers either.
No, it's amazing. Amazing Rick Allen, man.
Yes. He's afraid of thanking the wrong city.
Oh.
That would be terrifying for me. He says he says he has an absolute phobia. He does not want to get up there. and say the wrong city. He is so worried. I guess sometimes the Def Leppard guys would change the monitors to read the wrong city on purpose, resulting in a complete cringeworthy moment, and so he's terrified of doing that.
You know, I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons, but I do remember seeing, I think it was Spinal Tap on there once, and they were looking at the back of their guitar to see what city they're in. And, making the same speech, only it's, whatever city it might be. Of course, that must be going back a ways, because nowadays you could just look at your phone and it would tell you where you were.
Yes, exactly.
What's my location? Okay.
Oh, that's right. Houston.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. But of course, they were around long before cell
all that
phones,
technology,
yeah.
right.
So that seems like what are the audience going to do, leave, demand a refund? I mean, it's not a big fear, but I suppose it would be kind of insulting to say, well, you don't even know my name.
You don't even know where you are, dude.
It's like you're treating me like a groupie.
Pea Soup was right. That David Moore dude, remember him? He said you weren't scared of groupies or drugs. Yeah. Clearly, he was not wrong. So I'm just going to skim over this because it's the same, but Brian Wilson, the
Beach Boys, let me see. It isn't hamburgers. It's not drugs.
Process of elimination. That's a solid way to do it.
Is it like something funny like surfing?
He's scared of surfing safari.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could just write about it.
He's scared of Barbara Ann.
I've seen him on the beach, but I've never seen him surf.
He's scared of flying too.
Oh hell.
Yeah, yeah. So he had a panic attack during a flight to Houston in 1964, and he refused to appear on stage with the Beach Boys again for another 12 years.
Wow.
The fear stunted his touring ability, obviously. So, anyway, that is another one that's scared of flying.
Because, I mean, you can't just take a really, really fast boat or anything.
No, I mean...
you got to cross, 300 miles an hour and you get there in twice as much time,
But see, here's the thing, too. If you're on a boat, you can't get off it.
No.
You're stuck on it.
The air doesn't scare me half as much as the ocean. It's weird, I know, because if you fall out of the ocean, you might survive. If you fall out of the air, you don't.
Right.
But, I mean, the ocean is scary as hell.
But, again, planes are supposed to be the safest, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Ocean is terrifying.
Ocean is terrifying. Absolutely.
Yeah. The farther you get out into it, the more terrifying it is.
Black, nothing. Yeah, I can't do it.
Miles and miles of hundreds of feet of water below you.
Yeah, so
zillions of gallons of water everywhere.
Right, and you're just floating on it. That's
wild
just,
animals,
huge that are like 4, 5, 6 times as big as the vessel you're on.
Yeah.
So no. Marilyn Manson. What is Marilyn Manson scared of?
Oh boy.
I know. This one's going to shock you.
Judges? No.
He's scared of makeup. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, face the fear. It's not judges. Okay. What is it?
No. Sleeping naked.
Oh. I can see not liking it. I don't like it either, but I mean, it's just like, I don't like sleep naked alone anyway, which is the only way I ever sleep.
Here we are today on Winging It Confessions.
It's a very candid show.
I like it. Yeah, no,
how we are.
We just say
it. How we are. Okay, but that's that would be a good fear to have because it's something you're in control of.
Well, he says the fear has more to do with potential consequences than anything else. I have a phobia that I'm going to wake up naked in front of a police or something.
Well, I mean, just all you have to do is just never take your clothes off when you're going to sleep. Of course, if you're going to pass out, well, that's a different story. That could happen.
Got it. Yeah, that's true. So, a couple repeats here. I just wanted to share a couple repeats, and we'll get a couple more, and then we'll get out of here. But Christy McVie was also scared of flying.
Oh.
Yes, and Joe Perry also scared of needles.
Oh.
Our Chris Cornell also scared of flying. Sheryl Crow scared of heights.
Heights are a reasonable thing to be afraid of, honestly.
Well, that's a plane. Plane or height. They
go
pretty
standing
high.
on the edge of a building, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, okay.
Wait a minute. Needles. Joe Perry's afraid of needles. Huh?
Needles, yeah.
Okay.
That's not how he ingested his drugs, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, because there are a lot of rock stars we know they're not afraid of needles.
Exactly.
But, Joe Perry was, of course, one of the self-proclaimed toxic twins. But I guess it wasn't the needle. So
yes, and also Johnny Cash was scared of snakes.
Oh.
So Paul Stanley has an interesting one. What do you think Paul Stanley is scared of?
Paul Stanley.
I know we're having a kiss moment. You must be so excited.
Yeah, I mean, we got Gene, we got Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with fire.
Bullying.
Bullying?
Bullying.
Huh.
He says, a child, he lived in constant fear of bullying, something he regularly encountered in school. In his book, Face the Music, A Life Exposed, the singer recalled being labeled as Stanley the One-Eared Monster.
Right.
The rocker was able to rise above it, obviously joining a choir in childhood, growing his hair long to hide his ear, and eventually becoming one of the most successful frontmen in music, saith David. So...
Well, saith the Guinness Book of World Records, actually.
Yeah, whatever. That's no accounting for taste. So anyway, Tom York of Radiohead.
And Paul Stanley actually went on to play a famous character who has something very similar, who has a certain deformity and doesn't have an ear or whatever, the Phantom of the Opera. So, anyway,
it was almost as if I didn't say Tom York at all. That was really weird.
Well, I was wrapping up Paul Stanley.
We weren't ready to move on yet. I moved on.
Tom York, my favorite, from my favorite band of all time.
Premature?
Yeah, Premature.
Yes. So Tom York of Radiohead, what is he scared of? This is interesting.
Talent? No, I don't know.
No, that's Kiss. you get confused. I know.
Okay, sorry.
Close proximity.
Delayed. Yeah. See how I just can't get past Stanley.
You can't get past it.
You're talking York. I'm talking Stanley.
That's right.
What's he afraid of?
Cars. It says our family almost had a terrible car accident. He explained. My dad used to talk to me a lot about it. I think he was trying to instill the idea that anything could happen at any moment and you're not in control of it, which led to a slight paranoia, maybe justified. So I guess his fear of cars influenced many Radiohead songs like Airbag, Killer Cars, and Stupid Car.
Yeah, I would think so. Airbag, seriously? Yeah, okay. That sounds definitely like he's doing a little cathartic thing there. But
yes.
Cars, it depends. I was afraid of driving on the freeway for a while after I had a certain accident, which my vehicle was totaled. It happened in a couple of seconds. I couldn't do a damn thing about it. I was afraid to drive on the freeway at all after that.
Well,
sure. Things happen so fast. But you do get over that. But I don't like driving. I never have liked driving fast. Well, not since many years. Because it's a creepy thing to do. Shit happens too fast,
Yeah, I've never had issues with driving fast.
Yeah, well, driving at all though, I that doesn't frighten me as it does Tom York apparently. So.
Yeah, I mean he's just not into cars at all. So one last one, and then we will end this very interesting, I think, topic. Mm-hmm. Brandon Flowers of the Killers, the front man. What do you think that he is scared of?
Of the Killers. What's their song that I know? I know usually one or two songs by all these bands. I'm trying to remember. I know it's a good one. Is it I Hate to Say I Told You So? No, that was the Strokes.
No. There's so many songs from them.
All right. I know I like them.
No, they're very, very good. I love the Killers, although they were probably known for Mr. Brightside. That's probably their most famous. And if you heard it, you'd know it right away. This is an interesting one. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The number 621. It said it also happens to be his birthday. The phobia dates back to his childhood when a Ouija board predicted he would die on that day. So he says the fear is stupid and it's not a way to live. He goes to great lengths to avoid 621. He doesn't fly on his birthday, won't stay in hotel rooms with that number, and is extra cautious when he realizes he's driving at 621.
Driving at 621 o'clock. Okay. I was going to say what? Miles an hour,
Oh, no.
Then he's definitely not Tom York's friend,
Oh my God.
621. That is a curious, but then it's one
Ouija
of those
board.
Yeah, it's one of those occulty superstitious things,
Yeah, when you're a kid and that kind of shit gets put in your head, you can never live it down. So that's it. I think, kind of an interesting weird topic, trying to find something completely out of the ordinary, but interesting to hear that they are mere mortals as well, that they have fears and things scare them and they're not, comfortable with certain things, just like you and I. With that whole thing, they put their pants on one leg at a time, blah, blah, blah.
I would think they would actually be more neurotic than most of us.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. So hopefully that was interesting to you, David, and hopefully to all of you out there.
Good topic.
But I think we've exhausted that one unless there's any other fears you know of. Do you have any fears yourself?
No, I don't really. No. And it's weird. I think people
driving fast.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's weird that people tell people what they're afraid of. What if someone really hates you and they want to do that thing to you that you're afraid of?
Going to put you in a car and make you drive fast? They're not going to do that.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Or get you in a car,
drag you up
in
a plane
fast.
And do
do donuts,
Top Gun and shit.
Top Gun shit. You're upside down. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of very common fears out there. I mean, I used to have a fear of elevators way back in the day.
Really?
Because I don't like small spaces, so being stuck in an elevator.
Yeah.
And I did get stuck in an elevator, I don't know, like 10 years ago for 45 minutes. And I was actually, because it was Bruce and Bellman, because we were leaving a hotel in Vegas, and we got stuck. And that guy was so scared that I ended up talking him off the ledge and didn't get upset myself.
What, the Bellman?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was really scared.
Wow.
I could see he was having a panic attack, so I calmed him down. So it was interesting, but yeah. So
because
I'm
they're
better now.
designed not to be able to fall, so...
Right, but I'm trapped. It gets warm. It's
Yeah.
getting warmer in there.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not moving. You hear all kinds of weird sounds because there's other elevators going. So you hear all of the innards of the elevator. It's just really weird. It's weird to be stuck.
Yeah, they mine elevators for a lot of dramatic stuff in movies. It's like, you pop at that panel on the top and you climb up the cable and all that shit.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many elevator shaft scenes in movies. It's
We
really
just
freaky.
waited.
Yeah, yeah.
They called the fire department though and everything.
I would be
They
a
came.
skeleton. Wouldn't be climbing up any cable.
It was not fun, but I just talked to him about his kids and stuff and kept him thinking. But it was, I don't like it. I don't want to be caught in an elevator.
Wow.
It's not fun.
Well, that's something a rock star can avoid, unlike flying.
That's true.
See, since I'm not afraid of flying or elevators or anything like that, can I be a rock star? I'd be like the exception.
Do your thing. Do your thing. I can't even be a rock star, so if you can, let me know what the formula is.
All right.
So, all right. Well, anyway, now that we've chatted the chat on this episode of Winging It, I guess that only leaves for you to say,
Let's fly this coop.
This has been Winging It, a presentation of Birds of a Feather on What the Flock Radio.